this session you just need a rolled up towel or a half dome, and there's something to squeeze between your knees and your ankles. So I've got a squishy ball. You might choose to use a block or a cushion or just anything that you've got available. Alright, and we're going to start standing today. We're going to start with our calf stretch. So grab your half dome or your rolled up towel and pop it down on the floor. And then you're going to have the top of your foot to the top of the dome and your heel down on the floor. And then step in your other leg to about a hip distance. Alright, and then just let your body settle there. Alright, so once you're in position, we're just letting our body settle. We're gonna back our weight up so that your weight is to the heel of the leg that's on the dome. And then we're going to try and relax our thighs. So notice if there's a lot of gripping in those thighs. See if you can try and relax your thighs a little bit. And once that initial stretch has started to ease and it feels a little bit more comfortable, see if you can maybe step that free leg a little bit further forwards. If not, keep it where it is. If it makes you feel like you're going to fall backwards, keep it where it is. But have a little try. Oh, you're back, are you? And just take some deep breaths there. Check in with your jaw. Check in with your neck and your shoulders. Notice if you're gripping and holding a lot of tension. See if you can be as relaxed as possible. And just take some deep breaths. So we're going to do a little bit of standing work to start with. So I thought we'll start by releasing tension down the back of the leg. So checking in. See how it feels. Just a couple more breaths here. And then let's try the same on the other side and see how it feels on the other side. So again, top of the foot to the top of your dome, heel down. Stepping that other leg to about a hip distance. And then backing your weight up through your heels. Doing that little scan through your body, so checking for anywhere that you're gripping jaw, shoulders, fronts of those thighs, if you can relax a little bit. And take some deep breaths there. We want to keep our weight through this leg that's on the dome, but see if you can, if that stretch has started to feel a little bit easy, can you step that free leg a little bit further forward? And again, if it makes you feel like you're falling backwards, just step it back. It can feel really different one side to the other, so always check in and just notice how it feels. What it's making you do. Is it making you scrunch your fingers up or your shoulders up? So holding. Taking those deep breaths. Good job. Good. Okay. Keep your half done there. We're going to come back to it in a second, but we're going to go to the top of the foot stretch now. So taking one leg behind, tucking those toes under. You're trying to get your toenails down on the floor. And then try and stand tall. This leg that's gone back, see if it's trying to bend. He's trying to get a sneaky bend in the knee. See if you can keep it straight. And hold there. If it makes your foot cramp, if your toes are going berserk, you can keep coming out of it and kind of stretching them the other way if you need to. I like pairing those two stretches together, so the calf stretch and the top of the foot stretch, because it really gets into your ankle as well. Let's just switch and do the other side, so taking the other leg back this time. Again, tucking those toes under and standing tall. Watch for that
knee trying to bend, see if you can keep it straight. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Couple more breaths. And then going back to your calf stretch again. So we're going to do double calf stretch this time. So I'm going to have both feet up on your dome. And then hinging forwards. So sticking your bottom out, you can rest your hands on your thighs. Let your head hang if you want to. And this is a good place to practice that kneecap release, that ability to relax the quads so that your knees can drop. So if you can't get it when you're standing, try it there. Can you do one at a time? So making those knees dance a little bit. Couple more breaths. Hours of entertainment. If you get bored, entertain yourself with your dancing knees. Good job. And then when you're ready, come on up and out. So just popping your half down to the side so that you're not going to trip over it. We're going to take it into our pelvic list now. So feet hip width apart. Have a look at the outside edges of your feet and try and get them straight. And then backing your weight up through your heels. We're going to press really firmly down into one side to allow the other foot to float away from the floor. And then lower back down. We're going to stand that same side. Floating that leg up and then lowering down. And the movement is from the hip. So think about pushing that leg down and then release. So if you feel like you haven't got very much range of movement here, you can, if you've got a block, you can stand on a block to give you more range. If your balance is a little bit not great, that's really good, isn't it? You can hold on to a wall or a chair or something to just help you with your balance. But we're just going to keep going on this one side, lifting and lowering. Hi. And then we're just going to switch and do the same on the other side. Back your weight up again. And see how it feels on this side. You always have one side that's better than the other. And the things to watch for is leaning, like to make it easier, you can kind of lean so that you're having to lift less weight. What else? Kind of just dropping down into your hip as well, so that hip kind of pokes out to the side. Weight coming forwards, scrunching up of your toes. All of those are little ways that your body tries to get around, perhaps not having the strength that it needs. I know all of the cheats because I do them all. I have to check myself. Alright, go back to your first side. See if you can find that pelvic list and then hold that leg off the floor. So testing your stamina now. And they say we should be able to hold this for about 3 minutes, easily and comfortably. I mean, balance aside, 3 minutes is a long time, isn't it? We're not going to hold it for 3 minutes, but we're going to try and keep our weight back through our heel, and we're going to try and keep that foot lifted off the floor. See how long we can go. If you do need to keep tapping your foot down, obviously, that's fine, do that, but challenge yourself. And this is a good way of testing if it's different on one side to the other. Good. Try the other side, see how it is, seeing if your balance is better. Maybe your strength, obviously my balance is not better on this side. Your strength is different. And it's a good way to build that strength. It's always to find that pelvic list and then just hold it. Good starfish day. Alright, let it go. Give your legs a little shake out. And it's fine to wobble and it's fine to kind of lose your balance, because even that, losing your balance and then righting yourself, it's teaching your body about control. So I always think it's a really good thing. I always say to myself, it's fine, Sarah, that you can't stay standing and you're falling over. It's fine. It's good training. Go back to the first side, find that list again, floating that foot off the floor, and then see if you can try and keep your pelvis still, but can you swing that leg forwards and backwards without your whole body having to go as well? Can you find that? So we're still working on that stamina, aren't we? We're still pressing that foot down into the floor. Good. Alright, should we try that on the other side? So find that list on the other side, lifting the leg, and again, swinging. Try not to let your pelvis rock and roll. Good. Good job. Alright, let it go. Give your legs a little shake out. Alright, let's stay with a little bit of balance stuff then. So let's find our tree balance. And we'll kind of work our way up to it because there's, you know, there's working in all levels. So let's start with the toes down on the floor and the heel just above your ankle. And then we're going to check in and see where our pelvis is at. So have you kind of dropped one side? Can you try and find that level pelvis so those hip bones are still level? We're pressing firmly into that foot that's flat on the floor because that's kind of our supporting leg. And then notice where that knee is out to the side, has your pelvis gone with it? Can you try and keep your hip bones pointing straight ahead? So nothing's changed with the pelvis, it's just the leg that's gone out to the side, yeah? And then just hold there for a moment. So that's kind of nice because we've got a little bit of support from the floor, but we're still opening out the hip and we're still practicing our balance. See if you can take it up a notch. Can you bring that foot a little higher up that leg? And I don't mind where that foot rests. They used to say don't have it on your knee, but the amount of force that you'd need to press against that knee is just, it's never going to happen, it's just impossible. If you need to go near a wall to hold on to, then feel free. See how you are here. And again, a little bit of wobbling is fine. Teaching your body how to right itself. And is that the highest you can go? Don't use your hands, but can you bring that leg any higher? And then just hold there for a moment. And then let it go. Give your legs a little shake out. Let's play with that again on the other side. So let's start with the toes down on the floor. Heel just above your ankle. And once you're in position, check in again. Where's your pelvis at? Are the hip bones pointed forwards and are they level, or have you dropped into that hip? Okay, so that's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. Let's see if we can ramp it up a little bit by bringing that leg a little higher, wherever feels okay to you. You know, it's really tempting as you bring that leg up to seesaw that pelvis, yeah? See if you can keep your pelvis still and just bring the leg. So we've not changed anything other than lifted the foot away from the floor. How are you at that? Another tempting thing here is to send this hip out to the side. Can you see how I've poked my hip out to the side? If you kind of, help if I could balance, draw that hip in so that you're standing taller. Again, we're working these lateral hip, these standing hip muscles, and we're not just collapsing into the hip joint. Yeah? Draw that hip in. Alright, is that as high as you can go? Don't use your hands. Can you lift that leg any higher? How's your pelvis? Ooh, how's your balance? Are you poking your hip out? And you hold it for a moment. Good job. And then let it go. Give those legs a little shake. So we're going to pick one of those positions and we're going to move our arms around. So pick one where you feel that you are fairly stable. And we're going to go back to the first side. So you can choose to have your toes on the floor or slightly higher or really high, wherever you want. I'm going to go kind of here, I think. Check in, level pelvis. We're not poking that hip out to the side. We're nice and controlled. We're going to bring our hands together. We're going to release the hands. We're going to open the arms out and take the arms all the way up towards the sky, bringing your hands together overhead, if you can. And then slowly, slowly bring the hands down through centre, wobble any spine. Can you do that 2 more times? Release the hands. Circling out to the sides, reaching your arms up towards the sky, hands come together, and bringing the hands down. Whew. One more time. If you can't do the hands, don't worry, just practice the balance. We're like trees blowing in the breeze, it's all good. When you finish that last one, release your hands, release your leg. Let's try it on the other side, and remember you've always got the option of toes on the floor if you want to. Find the position that works for you, check in with your pelvis, check in with that hip, and when you're ready, let's go. Release the hands, circle the arms out to the sides, bringing your hands up and overhead, and then slowly bringing the hands down through centre. Go again when you're ready, open out, grow tall, hands come together, and down through centre. Just one more like that. Really nice. And then bringing those hands down through centre. Ooh. Release your hands, release your leg, and just give your legs a little shake out. Maybe do a little pedal, a little release there. So we're going to do our squat series next. We're going to step those feet wide and then turn your toes out. Have a little practice squat, make sure that you're happy with the position of your legs. If your legs are too close, you end up looking like a little frog and it's not a happy position for your knees. So make sure you're happy and then come up to standing. Alright, we're going to interlace the fingers. Inhale as you bring your hands up towards your chin. Exhale as you press the hands down, palms face down, and squat. Inhale to sweep your arms forwards, taking them up towards the sky, and then exhale to release your hands, release your squat, and come all the way back to your start position. Let's do that again. Inhale, interlace and lift. Exhale, press and squat. Inhale, sweep forwards and up. And exhale to release and come back to centre. Go again. Go at your own pace. You don't have to go at the same time as me. Follow your own breath. We're going to do 2 more. Nice. One more time. When you finish that last one, walk your feet in and give your legs a little shake. Really good. We're going to make our way down onto the floor now. We're going to come down onto hands and knees. So make your way down. Fingers spread wide. Thumbs pointing towards each other, elbow pits are forwards. And then I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades together in your back and then press them wide. So shoulder blades are going to squeeze and press. Trying to get as much movement here as possible. Good. And then I want you to pause when those shoulder blades are kind of halfway between those 2 positions. So they're fairly wide, but not all the way wide. And then check in with your elbow pits again. Are they pointing forwards? And can you now bend your elbows, lowering your upper body down towards the floor, and then straightening your arms to come back up. So it's a little mini press up. Again, bending the elbows. You can control how far you go. Elbows are going to be pointing towards your knees, not out to the sides. Good. Can you do 2 more? One more time. And then as you come up this time, just coming off your hands, and give the hands a little stretch. We are going to come back onto them in a minute, but bring your elbow in by your side, turn your palm up and use the other hand to pull those fingers back. So we're stretching through the fingers, we're stretching through the hand, but also try and get that stretch to come all the way to your wrist, because if you just do the fingers and there's no movement at the wrist, you're missing out. Don't want you to miss out on any of the delicious stretchiness. And then pulling each finger back in turn. Try and keep them straight as you pull them back again so that you're getting maximum stretch. And doing different combinations of fingers just to make sure that you've really got in there and giving everything a good stretch. Once you're happy with one side, give it a wriggle, give it a shake, and do the same on the other side. Elbow tucks in, palm faces up. Using this hand, you're going to pull the fingers back and make sure that stretch goes all the way to your wrist. Holding there for a couple of breaths. And then again, pulling each finger in turn back to get those fingers stretched out and doing different combinations of fingers. And just really getting in there. Give them a wriggle. Okay, we're going to do that little forearm push-up again, but we're going to add a little bit onto it. So come back onto your hands and knees first. Same thing, fingers spread wide, thumbs point towards each other, elbow pits are forwards. But I want you to bring one knee towards your nose. So you're going to bring one knee under, kind of really bringing that knee towards your nose. And then we're going to straighten that leg out behind you. Lengthen and reach that leg super long behind you. Now we're going to do a little push-up. Elbow pits stay pointing forwards as you bend the elbows and then come back up. Again, bend the elbows and come back up. You're in control, you can make it super small. If you don't like that leg out long, go back to both knees down. Can you do two more? Really nice. When you finish that last one, bring the knee in. We're going to do the other side. We're going to bring the knee in first, bringing it towards your nose, a little curl. And then we're going to lengthen that leg out long, reach the leg. Same thing here, check the elbow pits are still forwards as you bend the elbows. And come up. Good. Again, bend. And up. Keep going. Really nice. One more time. And when you finish that last one, bring the knee in and just come on off your hands. Give your hands a little circle around. And we're going to give our shoulders and our arms a little stretch. So we're going to come down onto our elbows. And I'm going to walk the elbows forwards a little way. And then dropping your chest and your head towards the floor and drawing your bottom back in the opposite direction, giving a good stretch through your shoulders and your upper back. Now your head might reach the floor, you might want to rest your forehead down. And all the time you're thinking about pressing your hands and your elbows away, drawing your bottom back in the opposite direction and letting your chest drop towards the floor. Good job. We're going to come all the way down onto our front now. So make your way down onto your front. I'm going to have our hands down by our sides. So you can rest your forehead on the floor, or you can turn your head to one side. I'm going to keep my head up just so that you can hear me. My arms are down by your sides. Pubic bone is anchored, tailbone slightly tucked. And we're going to reach the arms behind us, reaching the arms towards the sky. And then lowering the hands back down towards your hip. And I want you to notice as you reach those arms behind you, do they widen? Can you see if you can try and keep the same distance the whole time? And that's really tricky for your shoulders. Really good. Keep lifting and lowering. One more time. And then let your hands come down to rest on the floor beside you. So we're going to do our little floor angels here. So turn your hands so the palms are facing down towards the floor. And then lift your hands just a little off the floor, just a couple of inches off the floor. And then we're going to start to circle the arms out to the sides and up towards your head, just hovering off the floor. And then back out to the sides and down towards your hips. Just going at your own pace, just hovering off the floor, taking the arms out and forwards, and then back down towards your hip. Good. Two more like that. And then when you're ready, you're just going to bring those hands to the front so that you can rest your forehead on your hands. And just take a moment there. You can rock your hips gently side to side just to make sure that you're not gripping and holding any tension in your low back. And just take a couple of breaths there, letting your body relax.
we're going to take it into our hip extension next. So again, pubic bone anchored, tailbone slightly tucked. You're going to reach one leg away from you. Make that leg as long as you can, let it lift. And lower. Other side, reach the leg long, let it lift. And lower. Keep going. Keep switching sides. Remember here that we want our glutes and hamstrings to be doing this work, not our back. And our back really wants to do it. So that anchored pubic bone, that tucked tailbone is going to try and stretch out your lower back so that it isn't wanting to contract and tighten. Alright, as you lower your leg down this time, pause for a moment and just rock your hips gently side to side. We're going to push ourselves up and back into child's pose to give us a real good stretch out. So take your bottom back towards your heels, reaching your arms forwards, and let's just hold here for a couple of breaths. Okay, so I said to you at the start, didn't I, that you need something to grip, and we're going to do that now. We're going to go back down on our front, but your cushion, your block, your ball, whatever you've got, you're going to pop it between your ankles, so it might be easier to do it before you go all the way back down. So pop whatever you've got between your ankles, and then lie all the way back down. Okay, so we're going to try and do a double leg lift. Now, if as soon as you start doing this, it bothers your lower back, just go back to that one leg at a time hip extension. So exactly the same, pubic bone anchored, tailbone slightly tucked, lengthen that lower back. Squeeze whatever you're holding between your ankles, between your feet, and can you lift both legs off the floor and lower? Now it's a lot of work, it might get a bit crampy. If you need to stop and rest, then do. And if you need to go back to single legs, that's fine too. Let's see how you do. See how it feels. It's really tricky. I think it's really tricky. Good job. Oh, we're only going to do one more. Can you do one more? Oh, and as you lower this time, push yourself up and back again, finding that rest position. And you can get rid of your ball or your cushion, whatever you're using, and sink down. Good. Okay, we're going to go over onto our back now. So when you're ready, make your way onto your back. And then lie down, knees bent, feet flat. And just take a moment there, letting your spine settle. Anchoring heavy through the back of your pelvis, heavy through the back of your ribs. And then opening your arms out to a T. Bring your feet and knees together. And let's start to gently roll those knees from one side over to the other. If it feels good to you, you can let your head roll the opposite way to your knees, or you can just choose to keep your head in centre, whichever feels good to you. Good. Alright, and then choosing, you can stay here with your feet down on the floor, or you can float those legs into tabletop and do a little twist here. Obviously, a little bit more load and a little bit more work with those legs in tabletop. So see how you feel. How about we progress it again, even further? So again, you can choose to keep feet down, you can choose to be tabletop, or you can straighten the legs out. Don't go too far with a straight leg, not to begin with, just to make sure that you're happy and you're stable, because they weigh more than you think, those legs, as you go from one side to the other. And you can start to make that range bigger as you feel that you're kind of in control. Still want to try and keep our shoulder blades and the back of the ribs anchored down. Good.
And as you come in through centre this time, just bring your knees into your chest, give your knees a little hug, and let's just rock gently side to side. So we're going to do a little bit like a corkscrew next. So you can choose if you want to keep your legs in tabletop and squeeze the knees together, or if you're going to straighten those legs out. Both of those are fine. We're squeezing the legs together whichever way we've gone. And then we're going to take your legs, let's go to your right. So take your legs slightly over to your right, and then lower the legs to circle down around to your left, and then bring them back into centre. We're going to go the other way. Take them to your left, circle down around to your right, and then bring them back into centre. Go the other way. Squeeze the legs together, circle down around to your left and centre. Circling around to right and centre. Can you do one more in each direction? And again, you're in control. You can make the circle as big or as small as you like, as long as you feel like you're in control and you're not just flinging. Alright, when you're ready, when you've had enough, just bring your knees into your chest and rock gently side to side. And then keeping those knees together, I want you to roll to one side to bring the knees all the way down to the floor. And then we're going to keep the knees anchored down on the floor. We're going to try and roll our upper body back out to find that T position. So you might find that your shoulders hovering away from the floor, and that's fine. More important that your legs stay anchored, and then we're twisting away from that stable base. We're just going to hold here and take a few breaths. And then we're going to roll and do the same on the other side. So when you're ready, roll onto your side and then roll onto your back. And then roll to the other side, bringing the knees again all the way down to the floor. Once the knees are anchored down on the floor, you're going to again try and roll your upper body back out, try and find that T position. Noticing if it's different one side to the other. And again, just holding here and taking some deep breaths. When you're ready, roll back onto your side first just to get rid of that T shape, and then roll onto your back. Give your knees a little hug and just rock gently side to side. We're going to do a little bit of side leg work next, so when you feel ready, roll yourself onto your side again and lengthen those legs out long. Now find a comfortable head position, whether that's on your outstretched arm or propped in your hand, and then we're reaching those legs away. Okay, lengthen that top leg, lift that leg away, and then lower it down. We're going to do really controlled, because all of the time I want you to be reaching that leg away from you, so that you're trying to keep length and space in this top waist the whole time. So keep lengthening and reaching. Go as high as you like, but just really control. And then we're going to hold at a hip height, and we're going to do little circles, and all of the time you're reaching that leg as far away from you as you can, trying to keep your pelvis as still as you can. This supporting hand really helps to try and keep you from rocking and rolling. And then can you circle and go the other way? Keep reaching all the time. Good. And then we're going to take that top leg and we're going to take it just slightly behind that bottom leg. And we're going to lift and lower again there. So again, keep reaching, keep lengthening as you lift and lower. More work for the glutes now we've taken that leg back. Last one. Oh, can you circle back there? Keep reaching. Whew. Can you reverse that circle, go the other way? Oh my goodness. That's a heavy leg. Bring that leg forward and lower it down. Give it a little rub. Give it a little pat. Let's come up and stretch out that hip before we do the other side. So coming up to seated. Leg you've just been working, bring it in. Cross it over and sit tall. Twisting towards that bent leg and using that front arm to scoop that knee in towards you. Now you can keep your other leg out long, or you can choose to bring that heel around towards your bottom if it feels okay. If you feel like you've turned yourself into some kind of little pretzel and you may never get out of it again, keep your leg out long. Few breaths here. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So when you're ready, unpretzel and lie down on your other side. Again, lengthening the legs out long, find a comfortable position for your head. Reach the legs as far away as you can. Think about length through your waist, and we're going to lift and lower that top leg again. Really controlled. Try and keep your pelvis as still as you can. And then hip height for circles. Keep reaching as you circle. Good job. And then can you reverse the circle and go the other way? And then again, let's take that leg back behind the bottom leg and lift and lower here. Keep reaching. Good job. Are you ready for those circles? Oh, these are a killer when they're behind. Keep reaching as you circle. Oh my goodness. Can you reverse that circle, go the other way? Good. And then when you're ready, bring that leg in. Lower it down, give it a little pat. And come on up, let's stretch out that hip. I always think I do that second leg faster, do my circles faster, get them out of the way. Bring that leg in, cross it over the other side. Sit tall and twisting towards that bent knee again, scooping that knee to your chest. Other leg can stay out long, or you can bring it around if that feels good. A few breaths here. Alright, let it go. Release those legs. We're going to come to a seated position now. So we're going to have our knees bent and our feet flat. And have your feet and knees about hip width apart. We're going to take one hand behind us. And then we're going to take the other hand down between your knees. My hand's just kind of coming towards the floor. And then what we're going to do is we're going to press really firmly into the feet, really firmly into this back hand, and lift our hips up off the floor. And as we lift the hips, we're going to lift the arm, taking that arm up towards the sky. Can you look up towards that hand? And then we're going to lower down with control. Start to lower your hips, start to lower your hand, and come all the way back down. Can you go again? So think about this shoulder and watch, because what it will want to do is it will want to roll forward. So I want you to think about turning that arm out. Think about that elbow pit and you're trying to turn it away from you. Okay, let's try it again. So pressing into that hand, elbow pit's turned away, pressing into those feet as you lift. Taking that hand up towards the sky, taking your gaze up towards your hand, lifting those hips. And then lowering down with control. Watch for that shoulder trying to roll in. Now can you keep that shoulder turned out the whole time as you lower with control? Can you do one more? Watch for that turn out. Let's go. Press into the hands, press into the heels as you lift those hips. And when you're ready, lower with control. Keep that arm turned out. Watch for that rolling in shoulder. Oh my goodness, come on off that hand. Give your shoulders a little wriggle. We're going to have to do the other side, otherwise we're going to be wonky, aren't we? Okay, when you're ready, take the other hand behind. Again, let's think about that elbow pit. Trying to roll that elbow pit away, and this hand's going to come down between your knees. Are you ready? Press into that hand, press into those legs, press into those feet. Lift the hips. Taking that arm up towards the sky. With control. Watch for that shoulder trying to roll in as you lower down. All the way down. How are we on this side? Better? When you're ready, go again. Good job. Should we do one more? Watch for that turn out, press, lift. And when you're ready, all the way down. Roll your shoulders. Whew. Good job. Okay, we're going to do a little shoulder stretch, but we're going to use a lunge to do that. So we're going to come up to find our lunge position. So come up to kneeling. Step your one leg forwards. And then take a moment to level out your pelvis. Find that slight tuck of the tailbone. And we're going to just gently shift that pelvis forwards and backwards a few times. Doesn't need to be a big move. Giving this back hip a little stretch. See what your pelvis is up to. Is it trying to twist? Have you got kind of one hip trying to come forwards before the other? Is it trying to tilt? Is your hip bones trying to come forward before your pubic bone? And then we're going to stay forwards. Whichever leg is forward, that same arm is going to reach forwards. It's going to reach up towards the sky. It's going to go behind you, big circle. And then sweep forwards again. We're going to do 3 big circles in each direction, reach that arm forwards. Taking it up, you can allow your upper body to follow that arm if it feels good to you. One more time this way. Stretch and really reaching that arm as far away from you as you can, and then reverse. Take that arm back this time. Up and over. When you've done your 3 circles in each direction, you're just going to switch legs. So sliding that leg in, taking the other one out. And then again, taking a moment to level out your pelvis, finding that slight tuck of the tailbone to bring you into neutral. And then again, just shifting forwards and backwards. Doesn't need to be big. Good job. I do like these little easy neutral lunges, these are called. And then again, as you shift slightly forwards this time, we're going to stay forwards. Whichever leg is forward, that's the arm we're going to circle. Reach the arm forwards. Taking it up towards the sky, letting your upper body follow if it wants to as you reach behind. 3 big circles in each direction. Really taking time to stretch and reach that arm as far away from you as you can, remembering to reverse when you've gone in one direction. Really nice. And when you've finished your last circle, you're going to bring that knee back in, and we're going to find child's pose, taking your bottom back towards your heels, reaching those arms forwards and allowing your body to sink down. Take a few breaths in that child's pose position. Good. And then when you're ready, we're going to go back over onto our back again. this time we're going to lengthen our legs out long. We're going to reach our arms overhead. We're going to stretch from our fingertips to our toes, making ourselves as long as we can. We're going to find our crescent stretch from here. So walk your feet to your right, and then walk your arms and your upper body also to your right. So you're in that crescent shape, that banana shape. If that's enough, stay there. Or you can cross your left ankle over your right. And with your right hand, you can grab your left wrist and just give it that extra encouragement to lengthen. Lengthening all down that left side of your body. And just take some deep breaths here. Breathing into that left side. Using the expansion of your rib cage to give even more stretch. And we're using the stretch to release tension and tightness. Letting your breath deep, and we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes. So think about taking those real deep breaths, trying to get as much air in as you can. And then fully exhaling all of that stale air. When you're ready, we're going to release our arms first, so just release those hands first. Uncross your legs and walk your legs in through centre. We're going to do the same on the other side. So this time walking your legs to your left. Arms go up and overhead again, and then walking your arms and your upper body also to your left. Again, you might feel that that's enough stretch and you're happy to stay there. Or you can cross your right ankle over your left. With your left hand, you can grab that right wrist, and again, just give it that encouragement to find even more length down the right side of your body. As we again take those deep breaths, finding that extra stretch from the movement of your rib cage. Again, just staying here for a few more breaths. And then when you're ready, releasing your arms again first. Walking your legs slowly back in through centre, and then coming out of this quite slowly, bending the knees one at a time. And then bringing your knees into your chest. Take hold of those knees and just rock gently side to side. And then when you're ready, we're going to make our way up to seated. So take your time. We'll come then up to find a seated position. And we're just going to finish off with a couple of shoulder stretches because we did do quite a bit of shoulder stuff today. So just a comfortable, easy seated position. And then we're going to reach one arm out in front, and I've got my palm facing away to the side. We're going to drop those shoulders down away from your ears, and this arm that's out in front, we're going to bring it as far across our body as it will go on its own, and then we're going to use that other arm to scoop it up and draw it in towards your chest, and then try and drop your shoulders again. Now notice whether that's made your whole body kind of twist to the side, so try and keep the rest of you facing forward, and it's just that arm that's come across. So this is stretching out the deltoids, kind of the top and the front of your shoulder. So let's take a couple of breaths here. And then that same arm that's come across, we're going to take it up towards the sky. And then we're going to bend the elbow and dropping your thumb down towards the base of your neck. This other arm is going to either come over your head to grasp that elbow, or it can come across the front if that's more comfortable for you. And we're going to draw the elbow in towards us, and we're going to also try and encourage it to go behind us maybe a little bit more. So now we're stretching out the tricep, which is the back of the upper arm. Because again, those little cheeky forearm press-ups that we did, quite a lot of tricep work there. A couple of breaths here. And then to release the hands, let's just circle them out to the sides and lower down. Give your shoulders a little roll, a couple of times in each direction, and then we're going to do the other side. So the other arm this time comes out in front, palm faces away. We're going to bring the arm as far across as it will go on its own, and then use the other arm to scoop it up and draw it in. Watch for that tendency to twist your body, try and keep your body facing forwards, and drop those shoulders. A couple of breaths here. Nice little stretch through the front of your shoulder. Alright, let's do the tricep. So that arm that's come across is going to go up. We're going to bend the elbow, dropping your thumb down towards the base of your neck, and then that other arm is going to come in. Draw your elbow in towards you and encourage you to go back a little if you can. So like I say, you've always got the option of just bringing that hand across the front if overhead isn't a happy place for you. Couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, we're going to again release the hands, great big over dramatic circle of the arms out to the sides, and then roll in your shoulders again. Roll the other way. And then just a gentle, easy twist to finish off from one side to the other. Just a little bit of movement there. And then when you're ready, relax. You guys are done.